I would like to call to order the Winthrop School Committee meeting on Monday, August 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m. This meeting is being held in the Harvey Hearing Room at the Town Hall, 1 Metcalf Square in Winthrop, Mass. Could you please call the roll call?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yep.
Ms. Petrie? Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Lettieri, can you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please rise for a moment of silence in honor of Diane Montgomery. She was a secretary, started as a secretary in 1988 at our school system and remained there for 26 years, retiring in June of 2014 as the accounts payable clerk in the business office. She will be sadly missed by her friends and her family, many of whom are still in town. Thank you. Seeing no public comment, and we have no delegates or visitors this evening, can I have a vote for the minutes of, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of June 26, 2023?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lettieri, second by Ms. Swope. Any comment? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Abstain?
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Abstain.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Abstain?
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of July 10th, 2023?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Lettieri, second by Mr. Martucci. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Abstain?
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Abstain?
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion to approve warrant SVW 24-1 in the amount of $591,622.23?
Motion. Second?
Motion by Ms. Berry, second by Ms. Leonard. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I have a roll call?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion to approve payroll warrant SPW 24-01 in the amount of $215,062.98?
Motion.
Second?
Motion by Ms. Swope, second by Ms. Berry. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Abstain.
Mr. Matucci?
Abstain.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion to approve payroll warrant SPW 24-02 in the amount of $182,712.31?
Motion. Second?
Motion by Ms. Mary, second by Ms. Leonard. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Abstain.
Mr. Matucci?
Abstain.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion to approve payroll warrant SPW 24-03 in the amount of $286,690.11?
Motion.
Second?
Motion by Ms. Swope, second by Ms. Berry. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Abstain.
Mr. Matucci?
Abstain.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion for a budget transfer in the amount of $154,179.41?
Motion. Second?
Motion by Ms. Berry, second by Ms. Leonard. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri? Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion for a budget transfer in the amount of $489,464.65?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Berry, second by Mr. Martucci. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion to accept $5,000 grant from the Winthrop Foundation?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lettieri, second by Ms. Leonard. Any discussion?
What is it for?
This is for partial funding of a new sound system in the ATC.
Got it.
We're incredibly grateful to the Winthrop Foundation for their continued support.
Thank you.
Always good to get the technology upgraded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci? Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion to accept $45,700 grant from the Coordinated Family and Community Engagement?
Motion, yes, so moved.
Motion by Mr. Lettieri, second by Ms. Leonard. Any discussion? Hearing none?
Sorry,
What is
Oh.
this one? It's the grant that
Need a roll.
Nita Preble runs for the early childhood program.
Great, thank you.
Wonderful. Very much appreciated. May I have a motion, I'm sorry, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion to accept $129,000 in STEM equipment, MLSC STEM equipment, and PD?
Motion. Second. Just one question, my agenda says 145, is that not the accurate figure anymore?
No, yeah, that was, this was kind of a matching grant. We had to show what we were doing as a district. So that's the full amount of what we're doing, but 129,000 is coming from Mass Life Science Center.
Got it, thanks.
Motion was by Ms. Petrie, second by Ms. Leonard.
I think so.
Any discussion? Professional development.
Yeah, it's actually, we have a new STEM teacher coming into the middle school this year. You know, Mrs. McCarthy's been with us for so many years and retired this past year. So we're looking at updating our STEM curriculum, and we'll be using the Fuse STEM program, both in the middle and the high school. We do some at the high school level now, but it's been in pockets. So we're looking to start it in the middle school so it can grow with the students and then be revisited at a higher level in the high school. So this will pay for new computers in each of the labs, as well as new updated 3D printers. So hopefully we can use some of the ones that we have and get them into the science classrooms. And it'll also help pay for the professional development and the Fuse STEM kits that the teachers will be using in their training.
Excellent. Excellent. Sounds like a good upgrade. Any further discussion? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. Under Buildings and Grounds, may I have a motion to accept the ATC PTO meeting dates?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lettieri, second by Ms. Swope. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yep.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. And I'm going to ask that we have all of the car wash dates and proposals in one motion. This would be the WHS boys hockey boosters, the Viking cheer boosters, and the WHS girls soccer. So we will have some very clean cars in our town, hopefully. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Swope, second by Ms. Berry. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions? Ayes have it. We have no subcommittee reports tonight. Do we have a superintendent's report tonight?
No superintendent report.
Okay. Any homeschool applications?
We have 6 new homeschool applications for this school year. We have one for 3rd grade, one for 4th grade, one for 5th grade, two for 5th grade, one for 6th grade, and one for 9th grade. All of which have met the requirements for the homeschool plan, and I would recommend their acceptance.
May I have a motion to accept?
Motion?
Motion by Mr. Martucci,
Second.
second by Ms. Leonard. Any discussion? I have just a question on that. How many does that make for us total?
Well, these are all returning. They have to reapply every year. They're
Okay.
gonna continue. So far, we ended the year last year with 14 students that were, well, 15, but somebody graduated, so, that were on homeschool. So as of right now, 6 of the returning 14 from last year, have taken out applications for this year.
Okay.
I know that a couple of it have mentioned that they're going to. One has returned and is going back, to the schools, but, there's still about 7 unaccounted for.
Okay.
So hopefully if they're out there, they'll see us and re-up their applications or come see us about registering to bring the kids back into the schools.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposal or abstentions? Hearing none, ayes have it. Do we have appointments tonight?
No appointments.
Resignations?
Resignations, we do. We have Dan Toulouse, teacher, ELA teacher at the middle school, Jessica Palmer, special education teacher at the ATC, Kayla Murphy, speech pathologist for the district.
And we have a retirement?
We have one retirement, Diane Adelstein from food services.
Okay. And the postings?
Yes, we're still looking for a speech and language pathologist, a ELA teacher at the middle school, a special education teacher at the ATC, the special ed chairperson at the ATC, special ed ESP positions that are open, and crossing guard positions that still need to be filled, all of which are posted. Unfortunately, there's not a large candidate pool right now.
Okay. Thank you. Any leaves of absence?
No.
Okay. Under new business, we have a vote to approve the school improvement plans. May I have a motion to approve the plans that have been presented to us?
Motion?
Motion by Mr. Martucci,
Second.
second by Ms. Petrie. Any discussion? Yes, Ms. Swope.
Lori, I don't know, I mean, I have a lot of questions, so I'm just gonna ask 3 tonight, so.
Fire away and I'll see what I can do.
You know. When I read the plans, I see a lot of process work, but I don't see how we can evaluate whether the work specifically makes a difference. And I can give you a couple of examples, but generally speaking, what I see in the Fort Banks, it's clearer to me what the outcome might be. But just because we try a new curriculum, what are we intending to do? So, for example, we're certainly trying an illustrative math. So where are the goals there? Are we going to, I mean,
So-
how are we testing?
In
and
general,
how are
we use the
evaluating?
same data points that we have now, right? We have our MCAS, we have our STAR data, we have our early literacy, our dyslexia screeners. They have iReady that they use there as well, along with all the different programs and our teachers who sit with the data to go through. So basically, what we want to see is once we feel that we're implementing this program with fidelity, we want to see if we're seeing those scores rise.
Right, so can we not give it a shot in saying, so we have X number of students failing this or succeeding in this, and we hope to improve it by X? So at least we have something we're striving for.
Using more percentage points, you mean?
Something, I mean, that right now, there's nothing in there that says, I mean, you just said, here's what we're using, but it's not in the improvement
Goal
plans.
setting.
Right.
Goal
So
setting?
there are the goal setting in there, but they may be saying, providing growth in the areas of this
Right.
area or that
And-
area.
And I don't know what growth really means.
Well, and I do think that part of it's because it's relative to how you're assessing it. So it's not always a numerical number like an MCAS.
No, that's all
Sometimes
right.
you're
I
assessing
just
it through
need to
writing
know
ability or
something aside from the word
Yeah,
growth.
I mean, I definitely think it's something we can definitely talk about. One of the things that I did want to mention is that, our plan next year is to really make sure that the school improvement plans are tied to the budget process. So that we'll be coming and presenting them to you in
Okay.
January or February instead of at the beginning of the following year, so that the self-assessment that'll be done will be based on how we're preparing our budget going into the budget season, so that we can be able to say, okay, this is where we feel like we're not making it, or we need more support, or this is why our plan says we need this. Our budget needs to help, our budget needs to deliver that same message. So we're gonna try and do it in that way. So in revisiting that and revisiting the timescale, we could look at maybe finding some more, I'm not gonna say exact numbers, but find more
Something.
data points
Yeah,
that can be pinpointed.
some kind of data. I mean, it could be qualitative, I wouldn't mind that, but there's nothing in there right now, in many of the instances.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that that is not in the plan itself, but it is what's being used when they write the plans and revisit the plans, and, that's the data that's being looked at, but they're not putting that piece in the
They're
data.
not putting, yeah, they're not, the results are not there.
Right.
That's one. The second is, when you looked at maybe I misread this, but on the Winthrop High School reports, the student retention report, I think it's reversed. I think.
In the high school.
Yeah, in the high school, yeah, improvement plan. I think the student retention is reported incorrectly. In other words,
Well, let me look at
the
it.
percent that dropped out in grade 12 is higher. In other words, could you take a look at that?
Yes, I will
Because
definitely take a look
it
and
looks
let
as
you
if,
know.
that's the,
And that could have been an error, but
That
I'll
may
take a look and
be,
get back to you
yeah.
on that.
one is, yeah, I know we retain more than we lose. So if you wouldn't mind taking a quick look at that when you get a chance.
I shall.
And then, there are a couple of terms I just don't understand, but, so, what is stick and split?
Oh, it's a math program that's used. It's tools that are used in the math program that go along with some of the illustrative math and some of the Zern math that the teachers are using. So it's an actual kind of program
Oh, okay,
that they use and materials that they use.
okay, those are, I mean, there's just some terms that I
Yeah,
don't get, I'll
that's in
talk
the
to you later
ATC.
about that. I'll probably catch on if it.
I can get more specifics from Dawn, but.
No,
as far
that's
as-
fine, there's some things that what's just one more, GLDM? GLDM and CLDM,
Where that was the
three
reason?
point 3.1 on ATC. I don't know what that means.
I'll take a look at maybe something that's internal for them. You said GLDM, and
And CLDM,
I'm guessing it's grade level data meetings and classroom level data meetings. So they have a cycle in place, so they have grade level meetings, and then they sit down, the principal, the assistant principal, the math coach, or the reading specialist with the classroom teacher individually. And they go through all that teacher's scores, and they talk about how they compare relative to the grade level and kind of dig in really deep. So I'm gonna assume that that's what that stands for them.
okay,
Grade level data meetings and classroom level data meetings.
okay. I'm not sure exactly what we've learned about teaching online, but I'm hoping it's something, but I don't really see, I see that we're using a lot more software in the classroom. I'm not sure what it is that we've now learned that we are doing a lot better on, so that we can identify a child who's on the program, but still not doing well, and what have we learned about how to.
Yeah, well, we try, a lot of the programs, everything is being offered online now because that's the way everything has moved, right? But we're trying not to have classroom instruction time being the time when the kids are online. The instruction is when the teachers are right in front of them, but that's a lot of the, either the homework or the next steps when the students are working on their own. Because all the programs now develop individual learning plans for kids so that they're adaptive, these programs, so they can keep going and keep raising the level of learning and not be held back, for example, if they're accelerating, right?
Right.
So, but we're trying not to have that be done in the classroom during teaching time, when there's direct instruction, when the teachers are in front of them. So all of these programs are online because that's the way they market everything now, is online. So most districts don't buy many books anymore. At our elementary levels, we still do. We buy printed workbooks and copies of the text kind of thing so that kids have them in front of them. But they're not required for a lot of these programs. So it's, as far as the online piece, I think it's up and down as far as what we've learned. Some kids are very successful online and other kids really not. They just don't care for it, right? So that piece the only piece that we're doing now would be the extension of the classroom instruction. We're not really doing a course, like an
So
online
the
course.
classroom instruction looks different than it used to?
Right, so, well, it certainly does like with IM, and that's what that's how we're trying to move everything, is to more teacher facilitator versus
Can I-
teacher standing up.
I'm sorry, I wanted to draw the discussion back to the improvement plan. Do you want to, is there more review that you feel is needed? Do you want to table this, or is there something that you
Would
want to?
you take it to curriculum, or I'll just not ask? I mean, I don't care.
No,
You
it's
just
okay,
decide.
I
I don't have any more
I
questions.
just, if we want to make changes to it, I think that
I
that's.
do. I mean, I would, but it's, I can talk to Lori offline, but I don't.
I mean, I think if I could be recognized, I'm not
Yes,
sure this is the appropriate place to talk about this, but something I was thinking about when you were talking about the improvement plans and then tying it to budget outcomes, something that I've been wondering about, and forgive me if this is not the appropriate time to raise it, but it seems to me that if you have an improvement plan and you want to improve something and you find that it's not being resourced and then it's hence not being improved, I'm wondering about data gathering so that we can say, for example, we have a deficit in math in the elementary school. Our goal is X, we did not meet our goal. How are we gonna figure out that we didn't meet our goal? I think to Suzanne's point, right? And then the fact that we perhaps didn't get more money for math and we've continued to not meet the goal. I guess I'm just wondering, and this is a much bigger question, but I do think it might involve tabling the school improvement plans, or at least thinking about tying this to outcomes and data so that we can say, if this improvement idea is not, or if this outcome is not what we want, and we didn't get the money that we asked for, how can we then ask for more money to get the outcome? I just feel like it could be more systematic.
Well, I think
about
that's
this.
why we want to change the process, so that it is systematic, that it does make sense, that you can justify, here's our assessment of how we did since last year's improvement plan, this is where we're falling short, this is what we need based on the data, we're not meeting this goal, we don't have a math coach or something along those lines, right? This is what we've been asking for, how can we make changes that will be obviously tied to our budget to try and drive these goals? So that's our part of why Superintendent Howard and I started talking about revamping the schedule as to when how we tie the school improvement plans into the budget work.
I guess I'm just wondering if there could be some sort of follow-up at the end of the year where we then look at the school improvement plan, look at the budget that was allotted. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
close
but
the
so
loop
it'll
sort of
be
thing?
on, it won't be on like a full school year cycle then, it'll be on more of a, February to February type cycle. Because the fall is when, you come back, we get our general assessments, we get our feedback from MCAS, so we start to look at that data and regroup and refocus on how we're doing small group instruction, that kind of stuff, But then to drive the budget for next year, we say, okay, these were the areas we were lacking, this is where we're not seeing any growth, this is where we feel we really need, the site council and the instructional leadership teams work with the principals, excuse me, to really say, these are the goals that we think we need to put our efforts into during the budget season, and kind of realign how we're planning for it. If we're still really struggling with math and our reading scores are going up, well, how do we refocus this, and vice versa.
Yes.
I just want to say one thing about the student retention graph. That's referring to students that are held back to repeat a grade as opposed to retaining students, like keeping them in our school.
Is it 5-year?
Sorry?
Is it the 5-year enrollment, 4-year?
It's just the student retention by count, but I see if you're looking at it as like keeping students in the school, the numbers do look backwards, but those numbers are just in reference to the students that are retained, like held back a grade.
So kids that aren't ready to graduate yet, but doesn't mean they're not going to.
No, I saw that one. That was, maybe I missed. Okay. Sorry.
That's right.
Any other questions? Any further comment?
What are you planning to do with this then? Just,
We have a motion on the table, if you want to.
sure, no, it's fine. I just
Okay.
didn't know what you were doing with it. Okay.
Yes, we have a motion to approve the student plans as written. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Ms. Leonard?
Abstain.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie? Abstain. Ms. Swope?
No,
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. I do want to ensure that those plans are made available to the public. Those will be on our website. May I have a motion to approve the student handbooks as have been presented to us?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Martucci, second by Ms. Petrie. Any discussion?
They're good, I think they're very good. They're much more extensive this year, I think. Let's see. So,
They do, you know, all the administrators work together.
yeah, nice job.
I know those will also be online and made available to parents, and I just want to make note for families to look for those. They don't get them in hand.
He's gonna sign off.
Hearing no further discussion, may I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Martucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion to, let me give the background on this before I ask for the motion. We, a little over a year ago, appointed Ms. Gallivan to be an interim superintendent. That contract expired at the end of June, and we now have the opportunity to make that a permanent position and enter into negotiations. And that's what I'm asking for, a motion for tonight, to make that position permanent and then to enter into negotiations with Ms. Gallivan. That would be referred to the superintendent's subcommittee.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Swope, second by Ms. Berry. Discussion.
Would Ms. Galvin be part of the administrators union?
No.
Okay, so it's like a one-on-one. Great.
Correct. Any further discussion? Yes.
I just want to say, I think Laurie's done a very commendable job over this past year, and we're fortunate to have her.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Second.
Lori.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Martucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. We have no unfinished business. Do we have public relations? Aside from being on the lookout for the car washes, because they are coming.
Should be coming any day.
Yes, Mr. Lettieri.
I had talked with the superintendent, just looking at, the middle high school and looking how the exterior, the landscaping just needs to be addressed, and the town has just hired a landscaper to help us with fields, and asked the town manager today to make sure that they will take a look at the middle high school before the season, before the school year starts. So just let people know that we will be over there performing a lot of maintenance and weed picking and such to make that landscaping look the way it should.
Who'd you hire?
We hired a company called Leahy Landscapers out of Lynn.
Excellent. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second. Motion by Mr. Lettieri, second by Ms. Berry. Roll call, please.
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Martucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. Motion is adjourned.
All right.
Meeting.
It says here we can only take 10.